So I wanted to talk about the halving and where we are in the market and whether or not we're actually going to see the typical 4-year cycle that follows Bitcoin's halving. So if you don't know, the halving is something that's built into Bitcoin's code. Roughly every 4 years, the Bitcoin subsidy is cut in half. Right now, every mined block releases 6.25 Bitcoins as part of the reward that miners get for adding that block to the blockchain. So the last time that happened was in 2020. We're now halfway to the next halving event in 2024. And typically what we see in terms of the market is a 2-year recovery rally ahead of the event, followed by a year-long meteoric run and a 12-month bear market. And that bear market is supposed to hit way harder than what we're seeing right now. If the past is a guide, 2021 was supposed to be the bullish year like 2017 was. And then the bears are to control price action this year, paving the way for a recovery rally next year and the bull run of 2024. But it's just not happening the way that it typically does. We're not seeing the same market reaction. For one thing, miners aren't creating the same sell pressure that they have in the past because there are alternative forms of financing now available to them. So they don't have to sell off their coins en masse to keep themselves going. And so we're not seeing that humongous, like, boom, down to $1,000 drop that we had last time. Also, big institutional investors are here and they're not scared off. So as Avi Feldman from Golden Tree Asset Management said today, I'm seeing really smart people getting involved despite the bear run. To me, I don't feel like we're ever going to see that 4-year cycle again. And that doesn't mean this is a bad thing. It means, in a way, that Bitcoin is maturing and we're not going to get the kind of massive swings and volatility that we have in the past. So I thought that was kind of cool. Anybody want in on that?
I want to go around.
I just want to do quick, and then I want to throw a wheel. I love when we talk about like Bitcoin as it having its own physics, right? Having its own laws of physics that like replicate itself in actual cycles, and we've seen this happen time and time again. Just like the innate physics native to Bitcoin seem to play out over and over again. But again, this is an entirely different environment relating to Bitcoin adoption and by whom than when we saw the last cycle, right? And I think, Christy, to your point. Or to the point that was voiced by the analyst, right? It's like sort of a different constituency that is participating in this market now. It's why we see Bitcoin so correlated to NASDAQ in these last few months. It's why sort of these physics, these internal physics may not play out with this next cycle. So anyway, I am fascinated by sort of the mysticism of like Bitcoin bear bull cycles, because sometimes they do really seem to pan out. And at other times it's like, why would it pan out? Things are different now, very different now than what it was last time around. So anyway, I'm going to toss it to Will, though, because I'm curious for his thoughts.
I want to get everyone's thoughts on this. Is the halving priced in? That's always like the question that's at the heart of all this. And that was the big thing in 2020 when the last halving happened. And for listeners, that's when Bitcoin's issued supply cuts in half. It's like the daily amount that's rewarded in the Coinbase from Bitcoin miners. And last time that happened was 2020. Next one's supposed to happen in 2024. And people always argue that the halving causes prices to increase because there's a lack of supply in the market. So I want to go around. Zach, what do you think? Is it priced in?
I think it's priced in. Yeah, I think it's priced in. I mean, we know it. It's at a set schedule, right? Why wouldn't it be priced in? Okay. I don't know. Christy, you? Pass it to you.
I think that we are going to see less of the priced in narrative after this halving, because I think that everything has changed. The landscape has changed and people aren't going to know where it's going to go. And I think that we're going to mostly be relying on some market factors like who's buying, who's not. But I think it's going to rely on hopium a lot more than anything else. The anticipation of it happening is what prices itself. It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I think that after this, if the cycle breaks the way that it seems to be breaking right now, I think everything's up for grabs. Jen, what's yours?
I honestly didn't have an opinion, and after hearing Zach's and yours, Christy's, yours was more convincing. So I'm going with you, girls.
Yeah, no, it was way better than mine, like hands down. So. Will, we got to get Will on the record here. Will, is the halving priced in?
I don't know at this point. It's too far away. but I think last time it was priced in. I think the market always prices these things in. I don't think it causes these huge supply jumps or these huge price pumps. I think it's just like market demand for the product and supply hits at the same time. So that's my take on it. It is interesting though, and there will definitely be a lot of flame wars on Twitter as this date gets closer. It's still 2 years away, but it'll happen.
It's gonna be fun.
The last 2 years have gone pretty darn fast.
Time flies. Time flies. The crypto years, they're long.